Ooh, hot. Oh, it's real hot. What's up, guys? So today we're going to talk about how I took my bench from 275 to 315 in just a few short weeks. So we got few caveats we're going to go over kind of along the way. But I thought it was something interesting that I tried, and definitely a very weird point in my training and in my life that honestly definitely helped. And definitely helped me get over humps and stuff like that and plateaus that I'd been stuck at for a very long time. So something I thought I'd share with everybody that watches my stuff. So maybe this is something that you guys could try, or if anything, know that like it's an option just to show like the vast range of training, programming, and things that you can do to kind of get yourself over humps or through plateaus or just back into the groove of things or whatnot. So we could set the scene here a little bit, if you will, but. I had been a 300-pound bencher for, I'm going to say, at least 2 years. So bench, for some reason for me, was something I naturally took to the point where within my first, I think it was 5 or 6 months of training, I went from benching 135 to hitting 225. And then by the end of that time period, repping 225 for a set of 6. So I caught on a bench very quickly. And I think I attribute that a lot to some things that I learned from some people that I was training with at the time. There was an older guy, at least older than me, that I was training with. His name was Herb. Big bencher, mid-fours. So I took a lot of stuff that he said, and I took it seriously, and I listened to a lot of stuff that he did. Now, I did do 531 during that time period, and I think as a newbie, 531 is one of the best programs. As you become an intermediate advanced, it's one of the worst. But as a newbie, that's what you need. You need to come in every day and just absolutely destroy yourself because you'll make gains no matter what. So having AMRAP sets or whatever, but we can talk about 531 different. But I picked it up from him. He told me to. He put me on to tricep training, hard and heavy. Training shoulders still, training pecs, obviously. But I picked all that stuff up from him. So within, I want to say, a year and a half of training, I hit over a 300-pound bench. And then I did not hit anything over between 302 and 309 for, I don't know, two and a half, maybe even 3 years past that. So I always wanted to hit 315, I think like most people, and I wanted to hit 315 in a meet. I wanted to hit beyond 315. I could never figure out a good way to structure my training and programming and get myself to that or get, honestly, just past the plateau of a 300-pound bench. So this is kind of what I did. Now, again, some few caveats here that I kind of want to go over, but I am looking at my planner for how I did it, and I'm looking at the time periods that I had off and how I trained and structured everything. So honestly, one of the simplest programs, I'm not 99% sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure. I got this from Matt Venna, who talked about, he did this a similar thing for his squat, if not the same one. And he's talked about doing SBD days and stuff like that. So great resource to go to. Go to Matt Venna's stuff. You can look up stuff about the Bulgarian methods and stuff like that. So this is basically what I did. I had to have a very minor surgery, but kind of a more major one when it comes to training in a way. So I had a vasectomy in the beginning of December a few years ago. And being a vasectomy what it is, no, it's not debilitating. It's not a major surgery. There's not a lot of complications. There's not a long recovery. But with lifting, I don't know. I was advised to not do anything at all between 7 to 10 days. And then even past that, I was told to not do anything heavy, lower body wise, for even longer than that. Because as I'm sure you guys are aware, when you guys do lift, things move around, and that was not a very comfortable recovery. So I got around it in a couple ways, because for one, I didn't want to not be in training for too long. I didn't want to miss too much training. But also I wanted to use the time of not doing lower body stuff to really do a lot of upper body stuff and to to finally like break through like that bench plateau and finally like really bench something notably over 300 pounds that wasn't 302 on or whatever. So this is what I did, and super simple, super easy. I started 10 days later after my vasectomy when I was allowed to. And instead of doing a Larson press, I did like a feet up bench. So up on the bench, I just kind of like put my heels kind of to my butt. So that way there was no stretch or strain on my lower body whatsoever. I kept myself to have like an okay, decent arch in my bench, just as much as I could, with obviously nothing down there ever moving around. Cause it still was very sore, whatever. But I used this time to my advantage. And what I did was, I did like a Bulgarian-ish style high volume program. So what I would do is I would come in and train every day. At least, let me say this. I trained every single day that I felt like I was not absolutely banged up to train. So there was weeks where I trained 5 times, 6 times, or even like, I think I went like 10 days in a row of doing this. Now, of course, you're going to be sore. You're going to feel fatigue. You're going to be tired. This is not something to do long term. We're not running this for 6 months, 6 years at a time. But this was something I used as like a small little little spurt, just to get myself rolling again. So I came in, I did a feet up bench, and what you do is you max out, and you max out from anywhere between 1 to 3 reps. You are going to do a set of around a 9 RPE. You could even do extend the RPE up to like a 10 and really truly max out for that day. And then when you're done with that, you're going to take 10% off the bar. And then you're going to do anywhere from 2 to 6 back off sets at 2 to 3 reps. So what I would do is I would come in, like that first day I came in, put my feet up on the bench, took a max, and I went to an RPE 10. And I hit 275 on bench. So then I took 10% off of it, and then I did doubles with it. And I did doubles with it I did triples with it. And I did triples with it until the last rep, that third rep in one of the sets slowed down significantly. And then I did doubles. And what I would do with doubles is the same thing until the speed of the bar drastically dropped. Now, the first time around, I only really got two triples in, and I only got 1 double in. But that was my plan, was to come in, hit a max between 1 to 3 reps, RP 9 or above, take 10% off the bar, hit that for a triple until the bar speed slowed down significantly, and then hit doubles until the same thing happened, and that was it. And if I look back through, there was multiple days where I did only do 2 triples and a double. Or there's multiple times where, that I did 3 triples and I did 3 doubles. It all depended on how I felt and how recovered I was, Now, with all this being said, yes, it bangs you up a little bit. Yes, you're going to get tired. There's going to be fatigue with it. But the whole point was to come in every single day and bench and bench and bench. That's all you ever did. You don't do anything else. I did no other accessories. I didn't do any bicep curls. I didn't do leg extensions. I didn't do back raises. I didn't do any tricep work. The only thing I did was bench. And it felt weird because the first couple times I was like, I'm feeling tired from this, but there's no way I'm getting a stimulus because I'm not really like sore as much as I just feel like beat up. But from going from that, and then a few weeks later, finally being able to put my feet down on the floor because I'd recovered enough from everything else. I finally got to put my feet down. And the first time I put my feet down, I hit 300 with some leg drive. And I was very happy about that because that has shown that even with like having a little bit of time off and things being different, I still was able to express the same strength that I was at before. Now, I kept at it, and only less than 3 weeks after that, I was finally able to hit 315 doing, leading up to a very similar thing. The only thing that was different is that I knew I had the strength there, because at the time during all of this, I had tripled 275. I had doubled, I think 290. Let me check. I had doubled 280, and then directly before I had tripled 290, and I took 370 or 275 again, and I ended up hitting it for 5 reps. So I knew the strength was there because I was expressing it in a lot of different ways. The only thing was I was definitely beat up, definitely fatigued. I wanted to cut the fatigue. So what I did was the last week and a half before I wanted to try to really hit what I really wanted to hit the 315. I had went back to normal training, and I had went back to squatting and deadlifting, doing a top set, some back offs. I'd done some accessories and all that stuff. And I'd switched that stimulus up, which created more fatigue everywhere else in my body other than everything I used to bench. So it cut the fatigue for bench by quite a bit because I'd finally given myself the break of benching to not bench every single day. And I benched 2 times per week, and it took me a week and a half, and I was like, I feel great. I feel phenomenal. It's kind of like a little tiny mini peak that we do for like going into a meet. We want to build a lot of fatigue, a ton of stimulus, ton of fatigue, and all of a sudden right at the end, you kind of cut the fatigue. And that finally, all that stimulus you've had the whole time kind of shows through. And that's what I did. And I took out 315 and I hit it. And that was pretty much it. But I thought this was something that in my brain, at least the way that I looked at it, I turned something that could have been a drastic negative in, again, not a major surgery, but having a surgery that could have set me back a lot when it comes to training. Because again, I did not get to push lower body stuff for a very long time. I had to take time off. I was forced to do that. But I took the time to what I could do, I took advantage of it, and I used that time period to then boost another one of my lifts and then get a milestone that I have been chasing for an extremely long time. And so I used that to my advantage. I used something that honestly was a disadvantage and a negative, and I turned it into something positive and something as an advantage to me. So, I don't know, give this a try. Honestly, there's a point where if you guys are stuck in lifts, I've heard a couple people talk about it. Again, these are all short-term things. These are all things that might just help you when you're in a rut, you're in a hole, you're really stuck. I feel like a lot of this can get you from I'm kind of a beginner, I'm kind of starting to get an intermediate, to bump you into intermediate, and then bump you even farther into intermediate. If you guys are also stuck, if you're stuck at a 285 bench, a 290 bench, and you're trying to hit 315, I think that this is something you could use as well, just to help get you over that hump, and gives you a nice little reset. Okay, my numbers are there. I can show the strength. I did gain a bunch of strength, and kind of really get you over that hump. And I've heard people do this for squats, for deadlifts, for bench. I've seen people run all 3 at the same time and do an SBD day every single day. Now that looks a little different because you're not going to be able to max out all 3 lifts the same way. You're not going to max out a squat and then your bench and then go to deadlift and still be able to pull a PR. And I think the fatigue would be too high for that. But this is something that I feel like when you really sit and think about it, you can use these training or different people's training modalities and stuff like that, and it really showcases in your own training. So if you guys are stuck at barely over a 215 bench, and you're really you're going from a 215, you want to hit 275 or 315 in the future, everybody else, and I'll say it myself, you probably got to a 225 bench, benching 1 to 2 times a week, going real hard and everything like that. If you want to go past a 225 to 275 or 315, for the majority of people, of course, there's going to be some outliers, but for the majority of people, you're going to have to bench more. You're going to have to bench 3-4 times a week because the stimulus just needs to be a little higher. Now, you're going to have to cut it down with fatigue and all that stuff, so you can't go hard every single session. So if we look at it like that, we can kind of, in a way, speed through that really quick and then gain a lot of fatigue, get a lot of stimulus along the way, gain a lot of quick adaptation for our upper body. I feel like our upper bodies are very good with it. They're very resilient to just an absolute pounding on, of stimulus, of fatigue. They can take it. They recover very quickly. For me, my triceps, my shoulders, all that stuff recovers very quickly to the fact that to prove the point of benching 3 to 4 times a week is what it's going to take for you to be able to hit a 300-pound bench, a 275, a 315, and then so on and so forth, and then there's going to be a point too where then the weight's going to be too heavy, so then we have to back off. But that middle ground, you need to bench more. So try this stuff out as even as a Hail Mary if you want to. Just throw it out there just to try it, just to see what sticks. Maybe this is something that you learn through the process of doing this. You go, well, in my bench, I need heavy exposure. And that's what I learned, and that's why a lot of my bench stuff is, I'm doing heavy triples. I'm doing a heavy single on Larson press. I'm doing a heavy set on close grip as well. My pin presses, I keep all the reps decently low for the most part. But definitely, I get 2 heavy exposures when it comes to a Larson press as a single. And right now we're doing triples on our comp. And even next block, when I do singles on my comp, I'm still going to take a single out on Larson press. I need the heavy singles, doubles, triples. I need that heavy exposure pretty frequently. And it showed me that when I did this Bulgarian method that got me from that 275 to a 315 bench. It showed right away I actually need this in my training. Now I don't need to max out 6 days a week. I don't need to go 10 days in a row. But what I do need is heavy exposure day in and day out to some capacity. I need that constant stimulus in my upper body in order to keep my bench high. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Am I an absolute maniac for this stuff? Do you guys think that I'm absolutely full of crap? Let me know. I'd love to have a little debate in the comments about whether or not you guys think this works, what you guys think. Have any of you guys tried this before? If you have, please let me know. If you guys are interested in trying it, it's pretty easy to structure. Like I said, max out 1 to 3 reps, 9 RP or above, take 10% off the bar, hit triples till the bar speed slows down drastically, hit doubles until the same thing happens. And I think you guys will actually be surprised by how beat up you will feel after a few days, and then all of a sudden you kind of don't feel as beat up. Then it's it becomes ingrained in your body's almost well, it's day number 6 in a row, we got a bench, we're ready. You get more primed, you get more geared up for it, your body gets more almost amped up and ready to bench, and you I don't know, it just feels better. Your form starts to flow a lot better. Your technique is more dialed in, especially if you're practicing good technique, and that's what is dictating your sets and all that stuff. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys liked the video, please just hit like for me. I think it's that simple. It's that easy. But it does something really small, simple, and easy that you guys can do for me. Is just to hit like. Doesn't cost anything, but it definitely helps my channel out a ton. The more that my videos get viewed, get comments, and get likes, the more people that it reaches, which is great because I wanted this channel to grow, to showcase what more normal training may be for most guys. I didn't see a lot of that, and I still don't really see too much of it in YouTube. I see a lot of higher end guys, but I wanted to show something that, what normal guys that have, that have a family and jobs that don't pertain just to the gym. They can't just be in here for hours and hours, kind of what they can do. So if you guys can comment down below what you guys think, if you guys have ran this, if you guys are thinking about running it, or if I'm an absolute lunatic, please let me know down below. If you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. I post a vlog of my training 5 days a week, and the other 2 days I try to post something similar to this. Some talking about programming. We'll go over gym equipment, anything really that comes to my mind. So I think that's pretty much all I got for today. Check back in tomorrow. We're going to do a vlog. We're going to do our second deadlift day. So looking forward to that. But I think that's pretty much all I got. And that's pretty much it. Still don't really know how to end these videos, so I will say I don't really think we have an outro. So that's it.